All right, this next video is going to tackle a project that we need to do on the big rig over here. The front AC unit is actually gone out. No, it's not gone out. It's just not cooling the way I think it should. So we are going to be replacing it. Now the idea is to replace it with a 12 volt AC unit instead of the standard 120 volt AC unit. These 12 volt AC units are not necessarily designed to be in big rigs. This is a ducted AC unit that's in here now. They're just, I don't think they're really designed to be as efficient as the 120 volt normal one, but the unit that we're having the problem with is the front unit up there. And that's the section of the RV that we typically use when we're driving. And I thought it would be nice to upgrade that unit to the 12 volt so we can run the AC unit without running the generator off of our 12 volt battery bank and inverter, and the alternator charging and everything while we're driving. That's, in theory, that's what I'm hoping that this is going to work. Let me show you what we got here, and just a reminder, we will link everything that we use down in the video description. This way to make it a little easier for you to find that as if you're going to tackle this project on your rig. We got the CountryMod rooftop parking air conditioner AC unit. Now again, this is not a ducted AC unit. This is designed basically for more of a trailer, small trailer, maybe a camper van or something to that nature. But let's unbox it and see what we got in here. First glimpse at this thing is it's pretty big. It's a low profile, a lot more lower profile than what we got on the AC on the RV right now. And apparently I got the white one. I thought I got the black, but I guess it doesn't matter. Let's continue popping this out and see what it looks like here. So here's the book, the instructions, and then the remote. Hopefully, well, there you go. Scan to watch the video installation. So if you guys are watching that, if you want to scan this QR code, maybe that'll help. So you can watch it before you buy it. But it kind of goes through all the instructions that we're going to need to follow to install this guy. All right, to show you everything that came in with this package. We got the actual unit itself. There's the shroud for the inside. There's a couple of these, I don't even know what they're called, ductworks or something that we're going to need. One is, I've watched a quick video before. One's going to attach to the underneath this, the other one to that, and then they kind of sandwich together, hopefully. There's some spacers here. I'm not sure what, but we'll find out what that used for. Looks like you got about 15 foot of cable, if I remember correctly. And then some, there's some cable management things here with some zip ties, and again the remote and the owner's manual. So there it is, out of the box. Here's the inside unit. I mean, I've taken off the shroud. It's kind of fallen, breaking anyway, but the unit here is obviously working, and it is blowing cold air, but it's not blowing extremely cold air, and it doesn't keep up with the heat of the camper. Nowhere near as cold as this back unit does. This unit runs perfectly. This one is a strong unit, and it'll actually strong enough to possibly keep the whole thing cold. The ducts, I guess, are connected in some way. When you have this, the dump valve shut, it comes out of the ductwork pretty strong here in the back vents, but believe it or not, you can actually feel it coming out of the front vents, but just not as strong. So I'm guessing the ductwork is connected between the two. This new AC unit is not ducted, so it's just, all it's going to do is it's going to come out and shoot out through its own system. So these ducts up here will still work off of the back unit, but not the front unit. So I'm gonna have to take this guy out. I wanna turn it on so I can identify the power, make sure the power's off. And then I'm going to somewhat save this unit because it still does work, just in case I need to reinstall it or something. All right, well, we got the bottom plate off, just these 4 bolts. I've opened up the electrical. Obviously we've turned off the electric, so nothing's hot here. And I've pushed up. After those 4 bolts are really the only thing that holds this AC unit to the camper, but you see we got light coming in. So there's a rubber seal, and I'm assuming it's gonna be the same on the new AC, that that just sandwiches down and you clamp it down, and that's what keeps it water sealed. Other than that, there's nothing else that's holding this AC on. It's just basically sitting up there. So that's loose. I got to cut all these wires. I took a picture just in case I needed to revert back, just to take some notes as how it's hooked up right now. These, I'm not sure what all these wires are for, but I'm sure I could figure it out. Some sort of communication wires to the thermostat. But here's the main power that comes in, goes up to the AC unit, and then comes down, probably feeds the thermostat and then the controls with the temperature gauge and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and cut all this out, remove the AC unit from the top, then we're gonna clean the ceiling and then place the other one back on and hopefully get it sandwiched in. And the biggest part of this job is running the wires, because this is 120 volt. This is definitely not 12 volt. So my 12 volt batteries are right on the outside, right underneath here. So I got to figure a way. I'm going to get my 12 volt lines from the AC, whether they go on the outside, pop a hole through the roof to come down the wall or through the cabinets, or if there's a way to feed it in here in the ductwork. I don't know how far that goes down or anything. So that's going to be a project in itself. But if I can get the old one out and the new one in place, then we can worry about it. All right, here's our 2 units. This is the one we're replacing, the front unit. The back unit back there is the one that's working real good. So this one should be free. Just gonna lift it up. Yep, see? So we're gonna somehow get this down and off the roof. You can see the difference. I gotta clean all this up real nice. Look how nice that roof is right there. It hasn't seen the light of day since the unit was built back in 2016, I think this unit is. And then that hasn't been cleaned since then, and I did clean this, but anyway, let's get this thing off. All right, we're all cleaned up, and actually the stuff that was super dirty is much better than the stuff that's been out in the sun the whole time. I mean, it's a given statement, but you can see the little different color. That hasn't seen the light of day at all since the day it was installed. This here was underneath the AC the entire time, but cleaned right up. And then this is what was outside, obviously not covered. I did check the range here all around this hole to make sure that there was no obvious water rot or anything I can do to take care of this while I've got it open. Everything looks pretty solid. We were able to get it down. It's sitting right there. Now the other one that we're putting up here is a lot lighter, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal to get it back up here. But now that we got it all clean, we're ready to look at the instructions and get the rubber seal. And I've got some of that self-leveling stuff. I might throw a bead of it on here just to be extra cautious. But let's go look at the instructions. All right, again, this video is not a step-by-step instructional how-to install video. That will come with that QR code that I gave you. I'm just kind of going my step-by-step, but just so you know, this is a 14 by 14 inch opening. So I'm pretty sure that's what the opening is on my camper. I really hope so. But I'm gonna go double check that right now. 14 by 14, so we're good. All right, I got it up here. I peeled and stick the, show you real quick, the seal stuff around where it's supposed to be, and these other little pieces I just placed closer to the corners to help distribute that weight. It is much wider but much lower than the other one, so we'll be able to position it perfectly once we're inside. All right, here it is on the inside. We got pretty close, but you can see that it needs to shift back a little bit. That's really it, just back a little bit. So while we're in here, I'm going to shift it where we need to go. I'm going to put the vent on that goes in here, and then we'll bolt the plate on from the inside, and then we'll worry about wiring it. And again, wiring it's going to be the biggest thing. Here's the wires. That's the control wire. There's a few different ones, and then the power. So let's get it placed. All right, a couple things I was expecting based on some videos that I saw is this is made for a much thinner roof. You see how thick this roof is here. So when this gets put on, you see that gap there? I'm gonna need to get some of this foil tape to seal that difference up there. This is obviously supposed to sandwich together, and it's not going to because this is too thick. It's this thing here is designed to help prevent the AC from quick cycling, I think that's what it's called, where the cold air comes out and it gets sucked right back into the intake, and that vortex, that quick cycle will freeze up the coils. So this is important to have. I'm gonna shift it over just a little bit there. So we will need to get some of that tape to, once we get this in place, to reach up there and tape and seal that up to make that ductwork complete. I was hoping that this wasn't going to be in the way, and it's not. This is the old 120 electrical, so I'm going to leave it right there. Another thing that might be a problem is these bolts might not be quite long enough. So another solution, I'm going to have to go to the hardware store and get us another threaded bolt to be able to make this work. So either this, or they have some shorter ones here. I might have to use the shorter ones and then another bolt or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But this is it so far in place. All right, I was able to use the bolts that were here because the inside bracket comes up a little bit. I want to make note, look at that. I tightened it down a little too much on this side, and I didn't feel like I was cranking that down or anything, but the rivet popped right there. So, I mean, it seems pretty secured and sealed up there. We should be good, but I didn't have to get any extenders for those bolts. The longer bolts worked for me anyway. Here we go, the hard part. Getting this wire, these two wires really, they're in a coating. I do have my measuring tape. Let's see. We're looking at about an inch hole to get from here, preferably to this cabinet. Drop it down through the cabinet. I'm going to come on the inside of the camper right here, bring the wire down, drop it into this cabinet, pop hole, go into there. Pop a hole right here where there's actually a hole here. I'll probably use that hole right there and hook it up to my 12 volt system right here. So plenty of cable. It's less than the 15 feet that is supplied, so I'm not concerned with the loss of amperage or anything. Oh. The tricky part is getting it from the AC unit to this cabinet. So I'm going to turn on my light real quick. I'm going to stop the video. All right, just grab one of our handy dandy marshmallow skewers. If you look up here, this is the AC duct basically. It's just styrofoam, so it shouldn't be a problem. But we go that far back, so we get to there. I don't know what else to expect when it comes to the roof of a camper in here. Like, is there going to be a metal beam or something coming this way? No, over here actually, this way. Where if I get one of those long drill bits and start drilling through the styrofoam that way, can I get all the way to in this cabinet? Because I can cut a hole here and grab it and then pull it down from there. Is that possible? Well, I guess we're going to find out, because the only other option, which I'm not really happy with, would be to come outside of the thing and drop it down and then have it on the outside of the ceiling. Like if we were to come as far as we can go maybe, and then drop it down through into the ceiling and then over to where it needs to be. All right, just happened to have one of these long flexible bits that is designed really to run wires down walls when you have to get through a fire cat. So it's not big enough. This is only about a 1/2 inch bit, where, and again, the wires are full together about an inch. But this will at least identify if I can get through to where I need to get through. You have to do this very slow. It is flexible. I want to make sure I point straight so I don't come out through the ceiling, or even worse, go up through the roof, and then only go as far as I need to go to get over the cabinet. So I'm going to first mark the length of, in the cabinet. I'm going to mark the bit about here, so when I hit that spot, I know not to go any further. I'm not going to get even close to the end. I'll stop it right as I get into the cabinet there. So I'll mark that there with some tape or something. So I can't believe that this is happening, but I went through. You can see the drill bit right there. I pushed through. I put a little zip tie at the end, right where I was. I eyeballed it. I took my hole saw, popped a hole here, and then just enough to get through the ceiling, and then cut away the styrofoam with my pocket knife, and ended up right exactly where I needed to be with the drill bit. So I'm gonna work away at this styrofoam here, and what I'll do is I'll get the drill bit to come through here, hopefully. If not, I got some fish tape, and then I'll pull hopefully the wire through. Now keep in mind, I only drilled a 1/2 inch drill a hole with this drill bit, so it's going to be quite tight to try to pull it through. So it's still going to be a challenge, but I'm lucky enough to at least I have a hole now from here to where I need to be here, which is the hardest step, and step 1 is complete. I couldn't get it through the 1/2 inch hole, so what I did is I took this plastic tubing. It's ribbed. Obviously it's for extra protection, but I don't think I need it. Off of the wiring, so it'll make it overall thinner and smoother, so hopefully I can get it through this time. So let's go ahead and try to pull that through the hole now. Well, we got it. So again, we're up in this cabinet now. That was going to be the hardest part. Now I'll just route it around. It'll be exposed right here again, but I'll put something over to protect it or to hide it so it's not so noticeable, and then I'll be able to pop it in there. I'll take out that fire extinguisher so I can get down in there and push it down that wire hole into my battery bank. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this side all connected and wired up before I start popping holes and doing all that stuff. All right, so we got the first section of the plate up. It comes screwed together. That's the finishing plate, and then the grill goes on top of that. But I took it apart, or I guess you had to take it apart to put these screws in to the metal plate, pull the wires down, and as I was saying before, you see that these pieces are supposed to slide into each other, but there's a gap. So I got my foil tape, and I'm just gonna tape up those gaps so it doesn't quick cycle. And then this system's pretty cool because it has these motors that will oscillate the air. I'll show you when I get down to it, but it'll help blow the air. Even though this isn't ducted through these ducts, right now I'm still feeling the air that's coming up from the back duct. So it's not completely waste, but this unit here will just blow, and it's nice because it blows on both sides. This will blow right here on the cab, and then this side here will blow, and hopefully keep this area cool, because this is where most people hang out anyway while we're driving, watch TV, and be nice and cool. All right, got this all hooked up the control panel, put the cover on. This thing is pretty much done, ready to be powered up. Wires run into the cabinet, popped a hole from there down to here. Again, I'm gonna do a wire cover to hide this, make it look nice. Brought it into here, and then straight down, popped a new hole down in my battery bank. Here's my cable right here. So I'll be sealing this up, zip tie it to there, connect it to my 12 volt fuse controller and to the ground. And once we're done there, we should have power to the AC unit. So let's go ahead and get this thing connected. Hopefully I can do that without issue, and get this thing fired up. All right, I used the remote and it automatically changed the settings on this thing. So again, whether I put this thing in upside down or not, I'm not sure. It's upside down one way or the other, but if you look at it from this side, everything is, right side up. So I'm not too upset about that, because while I'm sitting at the driver's seat, I can easily just look back, and I can see what the temperature's set and the fan set and everything. And it looks like it's pretty loud, but oh yeah, I can adjust everything here. You can see the little blades here oscillating. It's a setting, which is kind of nice. It's super quiet. You can barely hear it's on. If I come back here to this one that's on back here, you can hear how loud this is, especially if you open up these dumbbells. So this is super quiet. It might not be as efficient, but it's blowing out. If you can hear that. But it's blowing out a substantial amount of air, and it's a good temperature. Let me get my thermometer and see if I can figure out how cold it's actually blowing. All right, so I had a little Govee sensor that I usually kept in the refrigerator. I threw it up in the vent. I'll show you. Threw it up in the vent right where the air is coming out. Okay. And it went down to about 57 degrees. It didn't get any lower than that, at least right now. It is currently, according to my other thermometer that I have, it's currently 80 degrees outside and 77.5 degrees inside, right here by the door. But this thing was been on for maybe 10 minutes. The temperature of this guy coming out, obviously I've probably already thrown up the temperature reading off of that one. I'm going to sit here and see if I can get a temperature reading off of this, what's outputting from this guy. Well, the temperature off of the other one is actually not as cold as what's reading off of here, and the humidity back there is higher, so this one might be a little bit more efficient when it comes to that. It's not as strong of a fan, and I think that's one of the reasons it's quieter, which I'm completely fine with. And over time, well, first of all, if we can drive with this on without having the generator running, then that's a win right there, because the dash AC, though it works, it's not going to help cool this back here. And in the summertime, there's nothing more miserable than just to be in a warm, hot, RV driving down the road with, just being uncomfortable. So it's probably not going to be able to keep up. This is a pretty large RV. It's a 39-foot Class A, so it's not going to keep up in the sense of keeping the whole thing cool, but it'll help keep it drier and a little bit cooler, especially right out here. So I'm going to, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this completely in this video to show you the whole wire thing, but you got the idea that the track's going to come down, hide the wire and everything. But all in all, 12 volt AC and a Class A RV. It was actually fairly simple. I was able to do it probably within 4 hours or so, and I got pretty lucky, I must say. But just keep in mind, there is a lot of videos out there that a lot of people have already done this, so I'm definitely not the first, but the distance to your battery source, your 12 volt source, is very important, so keep that in mind when it comes to where you're going to actually place your AC unit. If I were to replace the back one with a 12 volt, I might be able to do it because the power station's actually back there, but then again, I don't know, because all my 12 volt battery bank is right here. It's within 15 feet of this unit, so it worked out really well. Anyway, we're planning a trip maybe next week to go camping, so that should be coming up pretty soon, and make sure you like and subscribe. We might have some big changes coming to the channel pretty soon, so we'll obviously fill you in when we make those final decisions on what's going on. So anyway, we'll see you on the next one.